Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda and welcome to this important episode of Ignition Time. Today is probably the most consequential day in the history of our country for a long time, decades at least. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time and thank you so much for being a viewer. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. Now I want to talk to you about disinformation. I believe there's going to be a lot of disinformation today. And one of the reasons I talk about disinformation, and keep in mind that this video is based on my analysis of all the comments that I get on our growing channel, on the Ignition Time channel, and my understanding of what's going on with the news. I'll give you an example. I released a video yesterday where I featured a Republican pollster who was interviewed on CNN. Immediately I saw comments saying, oh, CNN's fake news and this and that. And then when I feature an interview that was done on Fox News, I get a lot of individuals saying, oh, how can you look at Fox News? So the reason I want to talk about disinformation is it doesn't matter which news station an individual said something on. What matters is what they said. For example, President Trump is going to say what he's going to say, whether it's on CNN, whether it's on Fox News, and so on and so forth. So I think I want our viewers and subscribers to understand the difference between actual data, actual facts, in other words, the spoken word of an elected official or the spoken word of, it could even be, any individual. There's a difference between the spoken word and there's a difference between that and an opinion piece and, what is essentially the subjective opinion of one person. Now, as you know, my viewers and subscribers, if you read the New York Times, if you read the Washington Post, they're left-leaning. They have opinions that talk about, left-leaning ideologies. And if you look at Fox News, and Wall Street Journal is somewhat right-leaning, but not as much as Fox News. Obviously, you'll see a different set of ideologies and, depending on whatever news outlet you choose to consume. My video today is not about, the subjective opinion pieces in the left-leaning or the right-leaning outlets. Remember, for us at Ignition Time, this is what we are extremely proud of. For us, it's not about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American first. So our approach at Ignition Time is to look at what individuals say regardless of on which station they said it. For example, let's say I'm analyzing an interview on CNN that was done with someone else. So that individual who's speaking is going to say the same thing whether he or she is on CNN or Fox News. So when the interview is dissected, what's important is what the interviewer says. I think unfortunately we live in a day and age where our bias towards certain news outlets or, I guess it's fashionable to say fake news, right? Our bias towards what I call fake news is so extreme that we've lost the ability to understand the difference between facts and misinformation. For example, again, if you're watching an interview, that interview is fact because that individual said those things. But if you're reading an opinion piece or you're reading something that is a subjective opinion of someone else, then, that could be something that you agree with or disagree. But if someone says something, I'll give you an example of my video right here on YouTube. You're watching me on YouTube. Let's say a segment of my video was on CNN, but then the same segment was also on Fox News. I mean, the segment would be true regardless of whether it was on CNN or Fox News. That's it. But unfortunately, our bias in some cases is so strong that it's like, oh, if it's on CNN, it must be fake news. Or if it's on Fox News, it must be fake news. So therefore, my advice to all our viewers and subscribers today, which again is the most consequential day in the history of our country for many decades, is please be on the lookout for misinformation. Please be aware that today is a day when we could get all sorts of data coming out which may or may not be accurate. I mean, look at any news source that you want, but it's important to understand what elected officials say and not dismiss anything simply because you don't like it or you don't like the news source reporting the story. It doesn't matter to me whether Fox News is the first to call a winner or CNN is the first to call a winner. It doesn't matter to me. It shouldn't matter to you as long as that reporting is accurate. Accuracy is something that hopefully will not be called into question tonight, because I'm hoping that whichever side wins by a fair enough margin that the results of the election are not questioned. Because one of the problems we could run into today or this week is a victory by either side by a very narrow margin. If something decisive happens, my definition of something decisive could be President Trump, retaining the control of the blue wall, if you will. In other words, President Trump breaking through the entire blue wall, or former Vice President Joe Biden potentially winning the state of Texas. Now, I know neither of these things could happen. I am not predicting what's going to happen. I don't have that capability. I don't have the ability to predict the future. But what I am trying to say is, if we have a decisive winner by a substantial margin, a large margin, then that way the results of the election, the validity of the election, the authenticity of the election is not going to be called into question, should not be called into question, because we need to have faith in our system. We need to have the next step. We need to move on. We need to put all of this behind us. If there's one thing that I know my viewers and subscribers want, regardless of whether you're red or blue, it's, we want all this drama behind us. We want a decisive answer. We want a decisive answer. And that is why I decided to make a video on misinformation, because misinformation is bad and it is misleading. And if you're going to watch an interview on CNN and conclude it's fake news just because you don't like CNN, unfortunately, that's misinformation. But if you saw the same interview on Fox and you said, oh yeah, that makes sense because it's on Fox, that is not reflective of misinformation. That is reflective of our own biases towards certain media outlets. So my advice to you would be, if you have bias towards a media outlet, that's okay. I'm not blaming you. I'm trying to help you understand. This is very important for my viewers and subscribers. I'm trying to help our viewers and subscribers understand the difference between misinformation and accurate news. Accurate news is accurate regardless of which station it's on. It could be something as simple as an interview with someone, because that person is saying what they're saying, unless of course the interview is doctored. It could be an example of statistics that are provided by a trusted authority. Again, those statistics are going to be valid depending on, regardless of which news station they're on. And an example of disinformation could be doctored videos, could be news that is premature, news that is inaccurate, news that is essentially distorted to suit a certain worldview. And, that does exist. But unfortunately, I think, again, our bias towards media outlets is so strong that I felt compelled to make this video on the difference between disinformation and accurate news. This also, again, is one of those topics on the Ignition Time channel that we could easily have avoided. But one thing you've learned on the Ignition Time channel, hopefully from me, is that we tackle the tough issues and we tackle the complex issues and we tackle issues that need to be tackled, because my goal with this channel is the country, the economy, and your money. And I think that if you're able to not fall victim to disinformation, I think that you'll be able to better handle your money as well, which is what we teach on this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something new. If you did learn something new, please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. If you haven't voted yet, please go out there and vote. This is probably the most consequential day in the history of our country, and you have a voice. You have a role to play. Please go out there and vote. This is going to be an incredible day, and it's going to be hopefully a positive, decisive day, no matter what happens, no matter who wins. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. I really appreciate you. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. If you learned something new from this video, please click like. Please subscribe, please enable notifications. That helps out the YouTube algorithm. That would be your vote of support for us and all the effort that goes into this channel behind the scenes. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. You can get your cell phone out and send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time 270,000, that's 70000, and you'll get added to SMS alerts list. We will send you breaking news and alerts, and so you can get that from us. You can also, if you like, get on our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts, and you'll get on our email list. You can opt out of the emails or the SMSs at any point in time that you want. You can also follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. That's ignition_time. So definitely make sure you follow us then. If you learned something new from this video, please consider sharing this video with friends and family. And you'll always find links to our resources in the description section below. Please comment and engage with our community. Our community is growing very rapidly. And finally, once again, please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications so you get updates from us going forward. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.